The fourth episode of Pink Nest podcast is with Johanna. She is an amazing event and well-being professional. And the episode is going to be obviously all about well-being and how to include your team, but also your attendee well-being into every bit and piece of your event. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another Pink Nest podcast. I'm Nika, and today I'm with Johanna. She is an event leader, well-being consultant, and she also created something called mental health well-being certification or mental well-being certification for event professionals. Hi. Tell me a little bit about yourself besides what I said, and let's start at the beginning. Tell me how you were like a child.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much, Nika, firstly, that I can join you here today. I'm super excited to be here and chat a little bit with you. So, as a child, okay, good question. I grew up near Hamburg, actually, in Germany, with two brothers in a little town. And I think it was a very normal, calm childhood. In the summer holidays, we always went camping in the UK, actually. And I think I always enjoyed learning lots of languages, traveling a lot, being busy, and being out and about. And that hasn't really changed since then. I always was a very active person, I think, with a lot of energy. So I learned early on that also things like yoga or taking some breaks are really nice. That maybe is a little childhood introduction. Or maybe it's to add, when I was 16, I went to New Zealand for a year because I don't know, I think I always wanted to see the world and meet as many interesting people as possible. So that was a highlight of my childhood. And then after school, I moved to the UK to study there. And then from there, by now I've lived in 10 different countries. So I've been to a lot of places. And currently, but always for good reasons. And everything was a nice adventure. Currently I'm joining you guys from Brussels in Belgium, where I'm now living with my family.
That's lovely. What did you want to be as a child? I ask this for every guest. What was your childhood dream? Like, I want to be something. I think we all have this, so.
Yeah, I think every time I wrote into these friendship books where you write about yourself, like your favorite color, your favorite food, and all these different things. I think literally every time I wrote something else, and this has also been my working life since then, because I've done a lot of different things. But definitely at some point I wanted to be a singer, and I was also in a choir when I was a child, but also at some point I wanted to be a dancer. I think I wanted to be a teacher at some moment, and I was a teacher actually for some years of my life. I don't think as a child I even knew event managers existed, but kind of those kind of things. Yeah.
Amazing. When did you decide in your career that you're going to focus, besides events, which is obviously what you mainly do, that you want to focus your energy also to mental health and well-being in events?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Actually, for some years already, I'm a trained mental health first aider. I took the training at the beginning of COVID because I saw it in an email and I was like, this is perfect for this moment. I really want to learn about that. And because just before COVID, I had been a school teacher and I thought that it would be really helpful to help the kids, help maybe my colleague, and in general apply it to my life and those around me. So I took that training. I've also been a coach for, I think, 9 years. So I always realized that, well-being topics come up also in coaching, and it's a really important element of our lives. And I've run, actually, now I don't run it anymore, but I used to have my own yoga studio. So, and there I was very much teaching yoga for the community, also really with a stress management idea and with an idea that relaxation can be brought to everyone. So I tried to make it not so spiritual and not leaning very strongly into one direction, but really accessible to all to help them find this moment of calm in our little community here just outside of Brussels, which was really a nice experience. And I taught people of all ages and so on. And then when I started to be in the association world, so I still, part of my work is still working for an association where I lead the, I do several things, but one of the things is leading the event team. And I realized that also in events, it's a really important thing because, of course, events can be very stressful for all, not only those who organize them, who have a lot of pressure, making everything as perfect as possible for the moment of the event, but also for the attendees, because maybe we fly somewhere that's already stressful for people. You are in a new language, in a new atmosphere, but then also you are running from session to session. It often starts early, ends late, and it's a lot of pressure for you, and you're away from everyone, your family, and so on. So I think even before it became a trend, some years ago already, I had the idea that we need to make our event as nice for people as possible. And if you organize an association event, it's not very easy to change a lot because there are expectations how this event has to run. It's been like that for years. So I tried to work with the low budget that we had in the facilities that we had and so on, just to do things like unconferencing or where you have rooms. Also, we built even like a barefoot path. We did all kinds of crazy things just to get people out of the conference mindset. And yeah, because also of this budget idea and so on, I think I always try to bring my past experiences from doing yoga, from teaching in schools, and so on, to in creative ways do funny things to help people if they don't want to attend a session for a moment to have something else to do. And even though I was the I was the project manager of the events, I often gave a yoga class in the middle or a relaxation session in any spare room, just to really help the community have those moments. And I guess then we noticed that they actually very well received. So yeah, that a lot of people made use of them in our feedback surveys. We got very good feedback. So we continued to do it. And now it's become like a normal element that we add to our events. And then, yeah, earlier in our podcast chat, you mentioned a little bit that an important topic these days is AI. So I think this year I realized that there's a lot about AI. There's a lot about technology and so on. And I'm also very passionate about event technologies and always try new ones in my events. And I'm a mentor for an initiative also in event technology and so on. But I realized that this well-being thing is not so much taken forward on lots of people's radars. I'm very happy you are doing a lot in that space, but there are not many people, I think, who are doing it. Or, yeah, I really realized I would like to bring all my previous knowledge and my event experience and see if I can pull together a training to really prepare people to, yeah, in an easy, low budget or even no budget way sometimes, by using what they have, just by often changing the way we think or look at our event, looking at stress moments, looking at what we can do with what is there to make events more health sustainable for all. And that's when we developed over this year the, now CPD-certified. So it's really a professional, recognized course where you can become a practitioner of event mental well-being. And now we just launched it, so it's really in the process of seeing how big can this get. It's really new, but we are excited to see how many events, venues, places we can bring it to, because I guess my goal, and I think we share that a lot, is to bring really well-being to as many people as possible. But because I'm now in the event space, really to that space, and also because we mentioned AI, I think especially when we use more technology and AI, the human part becomes even more important. And we need to make sure that it's not only technology and AI, but that humans are seen, and all types of humans, like all of us, can find our place in events and enjoy them. So yeah, so it's a big passion, and I hope it will go far. And everyone who comes on board is great, I think.
This is definitely something that we share. And this is also one of the reasons that I'm really looking forward to this conversation. Because I think that, same as you, I think that in events, we still have a long way to go. I'm really happy to see that mental health and well-being is becoming slowly part of the agenda. But I also think that there is still a long way to go. And
Yeah.
the only way actually to make this change happen is by your ways, like having a course open for everybody, pushing the agenda in every way possible, and of course, educating people and just making sure that this really
Yeah.
becomes a part of our daily life. Like, I don't know, like I said on a post on LinkedIn, if you had a toothache, you don't try to fix it yourself. You would actually go to the dentist and you wouldn't have a problem talking about it. But when it comes to mental
Yeah.
health, there is still such stigma around it. And people just try to hide it. And there is, I mean, everybody has a very valid reason for sure why they hide it, but or why they feel uncomfortable talking about it. And of course, I understand them all, but I think that it's really important that us that
Yeah.
are trying to make the space work for us, not against us. So to open the
Yeah.
conversations and holding the space for others to be able to share their
Yeah.
experiences too.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree
What do you
because sometimes, yeah, no, because
No, go ahead.
sometimes we think, sorry, no, because I absolutely agree with what you said. This is such a super important point. No, because I think sometimes also people try to directly make big changes or how can we do this? And it seems like so difficult to tackle. But the number one thing is to have an open space to talk about it. And that you need no budget or no huge changes for that. It's just a different mindset, different atmosphere
Mm.
to introduce in your team and your work. Yeah.
For me, it is honestly similar to sustainability that I did in events, because
Mm.
11 years ago when we started with sustainability, nobody was doing anything. And
Mm.
everybody said we're crazy and we should focus on other things which are more important and so on. And I'm having now deja vu moment because it definitely looks the same. But the truth is that I think that you got to start somewhere and you got to start pushing the agenda, because
Yeah.
otherwise nothing is ever going to change. I'm really happy,
Yeah.
for example, how far the sustainability bit has come from
Yeah.
comparison to where I started. And I'm 100% sure that if we do the same with mental health and well-being, and we are open about this and we try to push this,
Yeah.
it's going to change slowly by slowly.
Yeah. Indeed.
It just takes time, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah. And what you say with sustainability, I think in addition to planet sustainability, which is super, super important, of course, we also need health sustainability. And now, when even this year I attended several sustainability events, and health sustainability is not even mentioned. So
Mm.
then I normally raise the point. I'm like, yeah, I agree with everything. We should absolutely work on planet sustainability and do our best for our planet, for our world. And we have responsibilities there, especially in events, also to really work on that. And but we cannot forget all our well-being as well.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
also agree with you. Some kind of think that this is part of sustainability, and I
Yeah.
see it as, because we put it in a DEI bucket, which is
Yeah.
obviously true. But I somehow think that you can't be sustainable, really, or your company cannot be sustainable if you're not taking care of your own people. So whether this is audience or your team or everybody, but
Mm.
it's not just about ecology. It's also, like you've said, about health is definitely should be our number one priority. And I
Yeah.
also agree with you that you've said the biggest thing, I think that the biggest issue that most of the people, or mistake that they do, organizations wise, for example, is that they're making too big of a step in ahead, too big of a wish what they want to change, and they want to change the organization upside down, and they're having, like, goals are too big and it's hard to achieve those. They should, instead of it, should really think about small steps that they can do in order
Mm.
to make, like, small changes, which will then lead, of
Yeah.
course, to a bigger goal.
Yeah. And also, it's not always possible to directly make a huge change. So some don't even make a change because they think it's a too big thing. We can't, we can't attempt it. So let's push that to another time when we do it. Or sometimes, yeah, I think why it's also good to take, like, for example, the course or to really educate yourself about well-being is because often then now at events, we see that, for example, maybe a yoga session is added early in the morning at 7 a.m. But I just yesterday saw it on a program again of a big event that I will speak at this autumn. I was so surprised because the night before it's like a dinner until midnight. And then the only well-being element in the program is this yoga at 7. But for me, that doesn't make a lot of sense because probably everyone is exhausted after traveling, having the big dinner. And then the next day we should get up early to go to yoga, but sleep is also very important. And then also yoga, and I'm a yoga teacher myself, so I'm really for yoga. But I also understand the limits of yoga in the sense that there are many people who don't like yoga or who don't want to do yoga or who feel uncomfortable doing yoga with their colleagues or who didn't bring the right clothes or they think for this reason I can't do yoga. So you already limit really the audience actually that has access to well-being because because so many people won't go or they go and then they are exhausted for the rest of the day. So I think it's really important to really look into how to bring well-being to an event without adding extra pressure or extra stress or without making the program even longer than it already is. How can we use the existing program to bring well-being into it as part of it, so that everyone can enjoy it at the moments that work for them, but not by compromising their sleep.
Yeah.
And it's really the standard I think is just to add that yoga, and I think
It's more about
let's show that
ticking
there
the
are other ways.
boxes. Yeah, yeah. I think that it's more,
Yeah,
it's still in some cases or most of the cases, it's more about ticking the boxes, but not really rethinking the whole strategy, what you want to achieve. Because if somebody
yeah,
would be looking, somebody that has done a little bit of thinking would look at the schedule, would say, why am I putting like a yoga after a dinner that lasts until midnight?
yeah.
It's not,
Yeah. Yeah, or if you are imagining you are the attendee, would you attend the yoga? Would you go to dinner until late and then attend it and then go to another dinner until late? Like, is this a sustainable schedule? Yeah. So
well, I
what we
would
do,
not
for
do any,
example,
but I'm not.
I normally then also don't go to the yoga, even though I love it. So it's a shame. But what we do, for example, then in that sense is more to see, okay, because we always have some speakers that drop out even last minute. Then we try to see, okay, can we repurpose that room for well-being? So if like a 30-minute slot, for example, stays empty, we might offer there just a stretching session that everyone can do, no matter if they wear a dress or high heels or whatever they do. And it's very easy on the spot, even standing to do. And they do it between attending. Yeah, they attend another session before, another one after. But they are so grateful to have this little moment in the middle of the day just to stretch, just to reflect. How has my day been so far? Like, what do I still want to get out of this conference? There are a lot of things we can easily do just within the program without compromising our program, without compromising attendee sleep and free time. So yeah.
I think the message here is also that the organizers should
Mm.
be able to ask for help because there is no need to do this
Yeah.
alone. I mean, there are organizations and people like yourself who can actually help, who do have experience.
Yeah.
And there is no need for doing things yourself. You don't need to figure it out on your own. There are organizations and companies and people who can support you in the journey. You just have to reach out and just have a
Yeah.
basic idea what you want to do. And I think
Yeah.
everything is achievable, but you need to take the right steps into the right direction just to make it happen. And there are many events already out there who are doing a great job. Or
Yeah.
even companies or public spaces even that are doing a great job. There's just no
Yeah.
shame about asking help, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah. Indeed.
What about what about your own well-being? So we spoke now about everything else, but how do you actually how do you work on your own well-being when you're leading a big team or when you're leading a big event?
Yeah.
What are your steps that you take?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I think I really believe in micro moments or using any, like, even a small moment just to check in. So what I normally do is really, I'm very aware of how I am. So if I notice that I'm not feeling so well or I'm very tense or something is not good, then I try to recognize that. Sometimes it just helps to take a moment to breathe or even take a break for one evening or something like this. So I try to really spot that. And I also try to then, for my team, to make sure that we have check-ins. So normally we do once a week, we have like a capacity check-in where we all see how are we doing, but also, am I at 100% capacity, or actually do I have too many to-dos, or do I have this week not enough to-dos? And we try to share with each other that everyone has kind of a good amount, which is really helpful because otherwise it can easily happen that for some weeks in a row, one person always has too much and someone else might have less. And you might not even notice it if you don't do that check-in, and then that person is suddenly maybe not doing so well. So we try to avoid that, like that. But I think also what I learned when I became a team leader is the importance of really putting trust into your team and handing tasks over. Because in my case, for the association, first I was organizing events and I was in charge of all events. And then when we started to increase my team, um, of course, I had to hand over a lot of tasks and a lot of responsibilities, and some of them were my favorite ones. But it was a big learning step in my career, I think, to understand it's fine to hand things over and then to really give the full trust. And if you give the full trust, actually, people achieve amazing things because people love to be trusted and to feel. My manager believes in me and she gives me this and I can run with it and I'll do a good job because she gave me her full confidence. And I think with that, yeah, that's working really well in my team. And I love to see then how people do super well and sometimes even, or often even exceed my expectations. So I think that was a big step and that helps, of course, a lot because then you have more space to actually take care of the team because you hand some things over, so you have more time to do other things, like taking care of them. And then I think I also always try that even when a big event is coming up and so on, that well-being is still our priority. So if I notice that the atmosphere is tense or down, then maybe I would take everyone to have an ice cream, or I try to do something fun, or let's check in again. Is there something we can change? Is this really due today? Um, yeah, is this an essential to make the event like the biggest success? Because I think we are, like at least my team, we really try to make everything possible. So we really love what we do and we put all the energy in and we are really committed to make every single person happy. But sometimes we also need to be realistic and really see, does this make sense or is it better if we sleep now? Or can we, yeah, save this or hand it even to someone else? Sometimes it's even about hiring or getting another supplier who helps with something. So we try to be really analyzing and realistic of that. Um, and I think this, yeah, this works really well.
Um, so you basically actually just answered my next question, which was supposed to be, what is the quiet expertise of well-being first leadership? So basically, I mean, you've mentioned handling over the tasks, giving people responsibility. Is there anything
Yeah.
else that you would say makes actually a leader somebody that's actually putting well-being first within a team or within an organization or within an event? What would be the first signs that you would notice, like behavior-wise, or what would be things that he or
Yeah.
she does?
Yeah. Yeah, I would literally say that, like, really, this putting well-being first is actually the thing that has to happen. No, because normally we prioritize everything else, and kind of well-being comes last. And especially when we are at an event, that's what happens. So, yeah, I think normally I try to prioritize all of our well-being, so every team member, including me. But at the event, normally I try to mostly see my team members. So, for example, at our last big event, one of my team members said, "I really need to take a break. I need to go to the hotel and I would like to take a shower and just refresh and so on," because we were like up at all hours. And it's like, okay, go. Like, really, in that moment, it doesn't matter how busy we are or what's going on. If somebody needs it, I think to see that, like, be open to spotting that. But then also, no matter what's going on, making a plan and dealing with it and moving on, rather than saying, no, now it's the key moment, you have to stay here. Because I'm very happy if my team member comes to me honestly saying that they are not well. I want to hear from them when they are well, but also when they are not well. And I want to be able to support them if they need that moment. So I think just having the eyes open, you can notice if a leader is aware of how their team members are feeling. Because I think often it's not a consideration. It's just like, this work has to be done. And the team feels that.
Mhm.
They feel, okay, I just need to finish this task now. And I don't want my team to feel that way. I want them to feel still that being a human comes first. And also, I think, like, if someone has something with their family or their health, that always comes first. So no matter what's the period, no matter what's going on, I try to always give them the freedom then to leave early, to sort that out first. Because for me, it's important that they feel supported by their employer, in that really their, yeah, even our work is so important, but finally that has to come first. That's the key. And yeah, that's a big goal for me, that the team sees that and that we work together in that way. And at the same time, if I'm not well, I also want to, as a leader, even honestly say that to my team, and then arrange it in such a way. So yeah, I think I would say that's the key.
But I think it's also like the thing that you've mentioned, it's also about building trust, because to be able to build that
Yeah.
trust, that somebody from within your team
Mm.
members actually has the trust in you to be able to share their struggles with you. It's
Yeah.
a big thing, I would say. So it's
Yeah.
actually
It has
also
to be
about
part of the
building,
conversation.
yeah,
Yeah.
because
It's
they
not
have
just
to feel
about,
safe enough that they
yeah.
can do it. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think you can actually very easily introduce that when you change the way you run meetings, because if you're always just like, how's your project going? Are you done with this task? And so on. Give me an update. Then it's a very, yeah, just task based conversation.
Mm.
But you can also start with, how are you? But how are you really? Like, is there anything I should be aware of? Like, what's going on for you? How do you feel? Can I help you in any way? Can we as a team help you in some way? It's a whole different conversation that happens in a whole different atmosphere that's created in the team.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. It's basically
So,
just, and this is again something that you mentioned earlier. It's not about turning your whole
mm,
company upside down. It's just changing the narrative a little bit. It doesn't take
yeah,
anything from you. It doesn't cost you anything. It's just a narrative change. So, and it's such an
yeah,
important one, and it can change
yeah.
so a lot. Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree with
because
you. I
if the door is open for such conversations in good times, it's also open in bad times. So that's really nice, because people, when they start to not feel good, you can directly spot it, and that way we can help before someone would have a burnout. Because let's say we don't do the capacity check in, someone is always working too much, always completely exhausted, you don't spot it, then of course finally it might result in burnout, and then they might be on a longer leave from work, and it will
of
have a big
course,
impact on them and everyone. But if you spot it early, if you early on split tasks in a better way within the team, then you can actually prevent that something like that even happens, because they would never even get that far. So I think that's really important. Yeah, and maybe something else I'd try with my team. I don't know if it's possible in all teams, but because we were creating my team from scratch, because kind of first I was the events team and now it's a bigger team. But what I try to do a lot is that when, for example, we are about to hire a new position, I try to check in with the current team. Are there any tasks that you want to hand over that might go to the new role? And are there other tasks that we are currently considering for the new position that actually you maybe want to take? Because sometimes I think as well, we are trying to make someone happy in every way in their current role, but maybe there are parts of the role that really don't work for them and we don't spot them. And then for years, a part of their role is something they really don't enjoy. So I think I'm trying to avoid that by trying as much as possible. So of course, I don't say it's possible that everyone has a task that's 100% fun, but I think it's still possible to really see, she is really good at this. Let's play more to her strength and give her more tasks in that sense. This person is better at that. Can we adapt her role more to go really in the, for example, creative way or whatever works for them? And with this, I also notice that the team is happy because they feel that their strengths are seen, that they can develop their strength. And and they notice that we are trying to make their working life as happy as possible, even in that regard. So that's also a good trick. I think that works.
I actually hope that this podcast will be seen by a lot of people that are in capacity to do the necessary changes, because I think it's so useful and it's so resourceful, and I just hope that it will reach the right ears as well. We're coming to the end. One question that I also ask everybody: how would the world look like if Johanna would be leading it?
Oh my goodness. That's a very big question. Um, I don't know. I think overall, I would just like to, maybe help people enjoy more or find more what they love and do more of that. And I would hope that less people would be, ending up in positions or roles that actually they don't fully enjoy. Because I really think that when we find what we enjoy, it's the first step in well-being, right? Because if you stay in something that you're not enjoying, it's very hard to find happiness. And no matter what funny elements you add to your life, probably you will never completely be feeling well, because you are just still in a routine or in something that doesn't fully make you happy. So I would hope that there will be more freedom and availability for people to find that. But then also, as we discussed a bit in our podcast conversation, I think just in general, a world that's more together instead of against each other, where really we see and respect and love and appreciate and are happy actually about everyone's differences, and the different way they think they are, the different cultures and so on, and use that to create something great rather than distances between people. It's also something I really appreciate in my team, that we are all from different backgrounds and countries and so on. And I think that makes us strong. And I really believe in that. So I like a united and happy world where people have the space to grow, but also really see each other. I think that's absolutely key. And I would like to help to facilitate that now in the small space where I'm in. But if I could do it on a bigger scale, I think that'd be even cooler. But I'm already happy with what I have.
Is there anything else that you would like to share with the audience? Did we miss something, or is there something that you want to share? Use the space.
Oh, yeah, good point. No, I think I'm happy. Of course, I would be if anyone like I really enjoyed speaking to you, but of course, if anyone would like to find out more regarding well-being in their team, I train also, like I'm trained also to train mental health first aiders. So not only am I one, I'm also an instructor for other people to become mental health first aiders. Like I think it really matches our conversation. If someone really wants to bring well-being to their team, consider becoming a mental health first aider yourself. It's not a long training, and you might have someone on your team who is a normal first aider, but maybe not, probably not a mental health first aider. And even if we have HR, which is amazing, and so on, I think it's very important to have someone. And it doesn't have to be the leader; it can be anyone on the team that feels like I would like to be responsible for that, be that open ear. I think really, get trained doesn't have to be by me, but it's really nice to be a mental health first aider, have that knowledge and bring it into your work, into your family life, into any sport club, anywhere you go. It's very helpful for the whole world, I think, if you do it. And of course, if anyone wants to look into it for events as well, even if they don't want to take the course, I think Nika as well, both of us, we are super happy to just speak to you and see if you tell us how your event is right now. I think we for sure can give some thoughts into what may work, and then you can still decide, of course, what works for you directly. But happy to have
Absolutely.
that kind of conversation with anyone who wants to hear more in any direction there, whether it's about teams, about themselves, or events, because all of those things are, really close to my heart.
Yeah, I'm also a mental health first aider. I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
It's such a valuable course. It gives you really that first insight, and I really recommend it to everybody. It's definitely a great course.
Yeah. Yeah. Very, very good.
Great. So,
Thank you.
nothing else then left to say, except I just want to say a really huge thank you for this conversation. It was really, really valuable. And I think that we've covered so much things. And
Yes.
that I really, really believe that a lot of people will find it very meaningful. Thank you so much.
I hope so. And I hope they take some little breaks to check how they are and see what they need for their happiness and that of those around them.
Thank you, Johanna.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.